Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody. Please join us in a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, as we come to you this morning, open our hearts and our mind to your word. Help us to find peace within your teachings. Let us be an example of your word for others to follow. Lord, be with the agricultural industry in the southeastern United States as they recover from the loss and devastation brought upon by Tropical Storm Debbie. Bless the farmers, laborers, and all those who contribute to this essential industry as they deal with the aftermath of this storm and recent weather events that have negatively affected so many crops. Surround them with communities of support and resources to help them. We trust and pray for your blessings upon the land and its people. Thank you for the many blessings we all have, and especially for the opportunity that is abundant in Mecklenburg County. We are very thankful for all that make sacrifices to make us safe, protect us, and teach our children. Help us to make decisions that will create resolve for the good of all people. May those decisions have the foundation of your spiritual word. Help us to live as united people, one nation under God. Let us dedicate our service to make Mecklenburg County a better place for all citizens. May we be surrounded by your glory one day. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone's seen the agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chair, so move.
Motion been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our July meeting.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Under our old business, we have a proposed amendment to zoning ordinance on a zoological park. I will refer to staff and other board members for any comments on that at this time.
No.
Alex, you have anything?
I don't have
Nothing?
I don't have anything new either, members.
I guess just a reminder that we've had our public hearing. It's now time for the board to have discussion about what they've heard from the public, what their own thoughts are. Staff has prepared 3 resolutions. One for approval with reasons, one for denial with reasons, one for deferral with reasons. So when you take action, if you take action, well, I'm sure you will, please adopt one of those resolutions so that all the reasons will be in the record.
Any discussion from the board members?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Chairman, I think one of the things that it's not what we call it completely denial, but I just think the public in general right now is not ready for zoo in this area. They have not developed the mindset. And so this is what we sit here for, to represent our district and those that are in complaints that they don't want it or that they do want it, whichever way that it goes. This is what we're here for, to represent.
Okay. Is that a motion?
No, sir. My motion is that I make a motion that we attach the resolution of denials with reasons that we deny. Yes.
So the motion is to deny the text amendments to the ordinance. So is everyone clear with that?
Adopt the resolution that denies the amendment.
That denies the
adopt the resolution
text
that
amendment.
denies the amendment.
Jenny, you want to give a roll call on that vote? Jenny?
She got to get a
Oh,
computer.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Technology hadn't caught up with us.
Mr. Hargrove,
No.
Mrs. Lundy,
No.
Whoa,
Wait a minute, you're voting yes to
Oh,
approve.
yes to deny. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, excuse me, yes to deny. Forgive me.
all right, let me start over. Mr. Hargrove,
Yes, deny.
Miss Lundy,
Yes, deny.
Mr. Tanner,
Yes.
Mr. Spence,
Yes.
Mr. Gravitt,
Yes.
Mr. Wilkinson,
Yes.
Mr. Brinkley,
Yes.
and Mr. Jennings.
Yes.
Yeah, Ms. Blackwell.
Did you call Ms. Blackwell?
You didn't call Ms. Blackwell.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Blackwell,
Yes.
Don't leave anybody out.
Okay, the motion has a unanimous vote. Moving on, John Taylor, I think you're next. Fire update.
Morning. So, in an update to the warehouse fire in South Hill on the 6th of July, the DEQ and EPA have transitioned it from an emergency to a cleanup at this point. They made that transition on the 25th. On the 24th, they lifted all the recreational activities and fishing consumption on Mountain Creek and Dockery Creek, also going out into Lake Gaston and Maharon River. So all of those are positive signs. Some things, I was on a meeting last week about the expected rainfall from Debbie and how they were handling that, and so give you guys a little bit of information on what they're doing at the site. So they've established a ratio to per inches of rain that they've been getting there for runoff off the site, and that's how they predict how many of the frac tanks, or the big tank trucks you see that they're collecting the water, the runoff with. And so they're using that to gauge what they need on site before a storm or before a rain event comes, so that they can keep that caught up. Of course, a lot was expected during Debbie, so they even brought in some extra back trucks, and as well as, had other frac tanks coming in, so that they had well over the capacity that they needed to handle the situation. And they were making other mitigation circumstances. If you've been there or rode by it at all, you've seen where they've dug trenches on the kind of the south side of that building, and that is to collect the runoff, and then they're using the vac truck to suck it up before it gets into any of the streams, storm waters, or anything like that. So before this storm came, they also diverted the water that was coming off of the top of the karate building, because that was a lot of water that they were getting into there that really didn't need to be collected. And so they're working to do, they're doing a pretty phenomenal job at containing it to the site itself. The big questions I had for them were, when were they going to start moving stuff off the site? Because we all can see how much is still piled up there and that kind of thing. And right away, they went ahead and moved away all the steel components that weren't contaminated and got rid of that for recycling. Afterwards, they piled the rest of the stuff up that was porous, that could have had contaminants in it, tested it along with the runoff, and they've gotten a lot of that back. And to move into what they're doing with that is the stuff that's non-hazardous that's in the frac tanks, the runoff. Some of that is going to a site in the Middle Peninsula of Virginia to be disposed of, and then there's also some debris that is non-hazardous that's probably going to the Brunswick County landfill, not their landfill, but the commercial landfill there. And they're working out some final details on both of those. And then beyond that, the stuff that has already been deemed hazardous is probably going to a facility in Arkansas. So the company itself, I guess with the contractors that they hired to mitigate the circumstances, are trying to figure out the best economical way to do that. They know that's pretty much where it's going, but now they're trying to decide how they're going to ship it there, whether it be rail or whether they truck it there, or what they're going to do. And they've also are discussing some other things with DEQ and the EPA about ways to make that less hazardous before it even moves. So there's more to come on that later on. Before the storm, you might have noticed that some of the rain wash off from a lot of the afternoon rains that we were getting, like the 2 inches in 30 minutes, washed away some of the block from the front of the building. So you see them put Jersey barriers up and refortify the gravel diversions that they put there to keep from sucking up just regular storm water. So they're moving along pretty good, and some of that stuff was supposed to start moving off the site pretty soon. I just don't know exactly how soon they're going to get it all off the site. But I hope to have more meetings with them. The meeting that we had then was just before the storm, and of course we all know that ended on Friday, and nothing else has really been done till today. So as we get more information, we'll update you guys further. Update you on the losses of equipment that the fire departments had during that, or the responding agencies. To this point, these are stuff, and this is 500 Buckhorn Fire Department. Boyden didn't have any losses, they reported. Buckhorn Fire Department lost 500 feet of 1 3/4 hose, 2.5 hose, 500 feet. Chase City got some structural gear that was contaminated. Of course, they all tried to mitigate this the easiest way as possible, so they sent it off to get it cleaned and inspected and tested. And that's what they had. Clarksville had structural gear and a couple of lost face pieces. Lake Cross had structural gear that needed to be cleaned and tested. Palmer Springs had turnout gear that needed to be cleaned and tested, and they lost 100 foot of 1 3/4 hose, 25-foot section of 2.5, and a 50-foot section of 5-inch hose. South Hill's list is pretty extensive, as you can imagine, because of them being the first ones on scene and putting most of their equipment into play for when the other departments got there. But they lost an extensive amount of hose, a K-12 saw for getting into buildings that are locked up or all kinds of uses, the cleaning of their turnout gear, a 4-gas monitor, and a lot of hazardous material stuff, as well as the breathing air supply that they have on their truck that's mobile needed to be retested. And they had some damage to the ladder truck breathing air. And because of the heat, the damage that they want to retest the ladder itself to make sure it didn't get damaged as well. And then Lake Gaston didn't report any losses. Broadnax is getting some gear cleaned, but we don't know the cost of that at this point. None of the rescue squads or EMS agencies reported any losses at this point. So, and it looks like we're roughly, what hasn't been covered and what's been fixed already by the departments is pretty close to $89,000 of what they are still down. So, and they're trying to find other revenues to cover that cost so that they don't have to file it with their insurance companies, because they know that the cost of that would increase their insurance over a period of time that would be more than that. A lot of companies and businesses and community partners are stepping up and helping out, but it's still a little ways to go. We all know that in the town of South Hill, they're having a benefit concert, for that, or get together. And I know other local partners are talking about what they'll do to help them out. And if y'all have any other questions on that.
Thank you, John. Anybody have any questions?
They gotten the turnout gear back that they sent off to get.
Yep. Most of the turnout gear was able to be returned after being cleaned. Some of it had some minor damages that they had fixed. And then only one set was declared out of the whole county. Out of that whole group, only one set was declared not usable again. Good. It's going to need replacing.
Please keep us informed.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So with that, I think we are at a point where we can rescind the emergency declaration.
We'll need a motion to do that, I assume.
Yes, we need a motion to adopt the resolution to lift the July 6, 2024 local emergency declaration.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, sir. You go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, some of it, we got the resolution to lift the July 6, 2024 local emergency declaration.
Okay. That motion's been made. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. The motion carries. Thank you, John. Okay, on to planning and zoning. Mr. Hendrick?
You all have a siting agreement that's been worked on by staff for quite some time here. with 7 bridges to develop a solar facility. In the siting agreement, it lays out the revenue that the county could receive, also how the site will be developed. And even if this is accepted, they still have to go through the process of submitting the special exception permit to go before the planning commission and the board to be approved.
Okay. So this is just the siting agreement. I'd like to remind everyone of that. At this time, is there anyone here that would like to speak on behalf of the application? But that's not public hearing, Jenny. Anyone want to speak on behalf of the application?
Good morning, Supervisor
Morning.
Jennings, members of the board. You'll be receiving some materials in the folder.
State your name and
Yes,
where you're
sir.
from, too.
Yeah. I'm Cliff Scher with Long Road Energy. I'm the Director of Development. And yeah, thanks, Alex, if you would mind pulling up those slides that I sent over. You may remember me from earlier meetings, but I'm here today asking the board to approve and execute the siting agreement for 7 Bridges Solar. Long Road Energy is the developer of 7 Bridges Solar. We are a developer, owner, and operator of renewable energy projects. Since 2016, Long Road has developed over 5,000 megawatts of projects all across the country. We operate 3,500 megawatts of our own projects, and another 1,500 megawatts of projects are operated for other owners. Now, 7 Bridges Solar, could you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. 7 Bridges Solar is located inside of a timber property about 3.5 miles northeast of Chase City. It's an 80 megawatt project, and you can see on this map compares the 2021 site plan with a site plan from earlier this year. You can see how we've made significant changes. The gray-black panels are from 2021, while the pink panels are from this year, 2024. So you can see we've made significant changes, reducing the size of the project and including voluntary changes, adding a 400-foot setback from the South Meherrin River. That's a minimum 400-foot setback, and a minimum 400-foot setback from Scotts Crossroads. In some areas, the project will be more than 1,500 feet off of the South Meherrin River. You could stay on that slide sorry. And more than 2,000 feet off of Scotts Crossroads. Now, as you know, the siting agreement we're seeking approval for today would provide capital payments to the county starting next year, with a final payment expected around the end of 2026. Those payments would total $2 million, and our project is also expected to provide over $5 million in new tax revenue to the county. We also expect to spend $15 to $25 million with local vendors and contractors during construction. And you can see on this slide, we've been responsive to community concerns and changes in project requirements. On the next slide, you can see the status of our conversations with neighbors along Scotts Crossroads. Now, we're proud of the good relationships we have with our neighbors and with Chase City. We plan to continue to support local organizations and events in the area. Recently, we've also had exciting conversations with the mayor and town manager about our $500,000 contribution commitment and their plans to use that for recreational facilities like a gymnasium or a pool to benefit the local residents. Now, this map shows residents who are supportive of Seven Bridges Solar in green.
I'm gonna have to stop you.
Is there a 3-minute limit? Okay. Can I? I'm signed up for the public hearing too, so I'll.
Okay, you can do that. That'll be fine. We will begin the public hearing, but I'd like to read this before we start the public hearing. The board's protocol for the public hearing is as follows. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. There's a timer light by the county administrator. When the green light turns yellow, the speaker will have 1 minute remaining. When the yellow light turns red, the speaker must end his or her comments. Applause and outbursts will not be permitted. If any of you wishes to endorse comments made by prior speaker, please feel free to let the board know there is no need for a speaker to repeat comments which have already been made. With those comments in mind, I would now entertain a motion that the board convene in the public hearing on this application.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll now end the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak?
Not sure which one to start, but I'll start with George Toombs.
George Toombs, Sachs, Virginia. I come address some issues at y'all's last meeting, and I'm not satisfied with the results, any of the transparency to do with Long Road Energy, and I would ask y'all today going forward to maybe seek some transparency on matters of how they're dealing with broken panels and what they're doing with them. I have no trust at this time for the DEQ or the EPA in regards to these matters. I would like to see some fair and balanced tests being conducted with these panels and some clarity on how they will be disposed of. And right now, I'd just like to see the board push going forward with the whole solar industry for more clarity. And I implore not just this board, but boards across Virginia to start not letting the dollar be number one. And also, I want to address energy. As I watched solar go forward in South Central Virginia, I've heard claims of what it's going to be producing, and as yet I've seen nothing matching up for what they're really producing, as opposed to what they've told or advocated that they're going to. Nor do I see any clarity of how to see just exactly what these solar fields are producing. These are some ideas that I want brought to your attention. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Skylar Song.
Good morning, Chairman Jennings and members of the board. My name is Skylar Zunk. I'm here today speaking on behalf of Energy Right, a nonprofit organization based right here in Virginia. I'm here on behalf of my team of 5 and the many thousands of folks we speak to on a regular basis. We founded Energy Right to bring a conservative voice to the clean energy conversation in Virginia, specifically to counter a lot of the misinformation that is very rampant in these conversations. We believe no one is well served by false information that often pervades these conversations about solar facilities. It's been a privilege to engage with many of you and hundreds of your citizens over the past 3 years working in Mecklenburg counties to talk with business owners, city, county leaders, and folks who are just generally interested in learning more about clean energy. As you know, last month, Governor Youngkin previewed his update to the Virginia Energy Plan and said emphatically that yes, we're going to have an all-of-the-above energy strategy in Virginia. He said, yes, we need solar, yes, we need wind as part of that all-of-the-above strategy. He really encouraged us not to look at the either-or conversations when talking about energy, but the both and. We need our traditional fossil fuel generation, nuclear, and we need renewables increasingly in the Commonwealth. Key to the governor's plan on energy is to grow Virginia's economy, producing more energy right here in Virginia. Currently, to power our homes and businesses, we're importing 1/3 of the energy we need to do that from other states. We have to be energy independent as a state, and we need to be energy independent at the county level as well. Right now, about 5% of our annual energy is produced by solar, and that number is expected to increase. So we absolutely need solar as part of that all of the above strategy. Every decision you all face comes with costs and benefits. It's Energy Right's position that the millions of dollars in tax revenue and the tens of millions spent locally that Long Road pledges to spend with local businesses absolutely outweighs any temporary construction costs. Again, it's been a privilege to work in the county. I urge you to support this project, not because of its the many merits of the project itself, but also because of the conversations that are happening all across the Commonwealth about taking away local control when it comes to clean energy siting. There's folks in Richmond who for the past 3 years have voted to take away local control from rooms like this to give the power to site these projects to a group of unelected bureaucrats. We absolutely oppose that. Encourage everyone at the county level in Virginia to consider these projects thoughtfully. And if those benefits outweigh the costs, please vote yes. Thank you.
We've got John Levy.
Excuse me. I'm John Laban. I live at 405 Scotts Crossroads, immediately across the road from this Seven Bridges. I have been truly impressed by the efforts Long Road has made to listen to its neighbors and the way they have responded, which has been positive. They've listened to us, they've reshaped things, and they have always been very clear on what they're doing. I've heard a lot of complaints about the type of solar panels, and you gentlemen and ladies probably know more than I do about what goes into these things. But I do know that the cadmium telluride panels, cadmium is a very toxic subject that comes from a byproduct of refining zinc. It's out there, but when combined with tellurium, it becomes very stable. I'm not worried about these panels across the street from me. They're going to be safe. But what I want to impress is this is a company, Long Road, that has listened to its neighbors, has responded positively, and I think they're setting an excellent example for anybody who wants to come in with an energy project of how they should act. Thank you very much for listening to me, but I am totally in favor of this project. I do prefer woods, though.
Durable as razor.
My wife and I live on Scotts Crossroads, and the property we live on has about 200 acres of mature trees. And the solar project is on, I guess I would say, the northwest side of Scotts Crossroads. And they bump up the proposed project bumps up to our property on the across the road. And I think the buffer, the last I saw of it, was 150 feet buffer between us and where they go put the panels. And that's a half of the length of a football field, which would kind of limit us to what we could do with that property in the future. Like if we want to sell some lots or something, who wants a building lot where you go in your backyard and you got solar panels? So that's one thing I want to talk about. And one other thing, I don't have any scientific evidence, but I'm 84 years old and I've been remembering things for probably 65 years, and I've remembered a lot of tornadoes. And one thing I've noticed, and I can't give any reason for it, but most tornadoes pick out a wide open space to come through. They like trailer parks, they like low buildings and open land. And I just wonder if Mecklenburg County gets a lot of places where they got solar panels, will that have an adverse effect on us? I don't know, but I'm just throwing that out because I think about it. And the other comment I'd like to talk about, on August the 7th in the Mecklenburg Sun, they mentioned $500,000 offered to the town and the good people of Chase City if the supervisors approve this project. And I don't see too many solar panels going up in the city of Chase City, but looks like all of them are going up where we've got Mecklenburg residents that live outside the city. So the city gets $500,000, and the other people, some of them might say they just get the shaft. So I just thought I would say that, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Lane Dunn.
Good morning. I'm Lane Gunn. I live at 16476 Kings Highway in Wiley'sburg, Virginia. I'm a project manager with Red Oak Excavating, and I'm also the chairman of the board of directors for South Central Virginia Business Alliance. Our alliance works to bring all of our local businesses to the forefront of these types of projects. We come to support them at just about every single board of supervisors meeting that we can make. At the end of the day, these projects create jobs, long-lasting jobs. I know I've built 7 or 8 of these things, and they go together like clockwork. As they're approved and can be constructed, companies like Long Roads call upon us to utilize local businesses to guarantee that we can build something in our own communities. Now, that being said, who's going to have a better eye or take more pride in these projects than your local businesses? You know, I'm a grading contractor by trade. We care about what goes into our water. We care about what's going to be happening with erosion sediment control. You know, we will be the first ones there. We'll be the first ones building these types of projects. And all I can ask for is your support and your approval for this project because, one, it's in a very good spot. It's in a pine plantation. It's not taking up a bunch of agricultural land that I know each and every single one of you sitting on this board cares about. You know, we don't have a problem cutting hundreds of acres of trees, letting a logger not worry about his ruts and his silt and what have you, running into our creeks and rivers and everything else. But all of a sudden, because they want to put solar panels on it, there's a problem. Solar panels will be your best neighbor. They're quiet. They don't cost you anything. No water development, no sanitary sewer development. You know, for your fire departments and what have you, a lot of these developers will help them get the type of equipment to handle a fire should there be one. You know, speaking of fires, we just had that major fire in South Hill. And, you know, some of the stuff that you would use on a solar project, if there would be a fire, those firefighters could have used for that fire. But I thank you for your time, and I hope that you approve this project because it is needed in our area.
Joel Cappy.
Hello, I'm Joel Cathy. I live in Charlotte County. I've been a forester in Southside Virginia for the last 44 years. I'm past president of Virginia Forestry Association. I've served 2 terms on the Board of Forestry for the Board of Directors of the Department of Forestry. I'm a landowner in Mecklenburg County. I own 170 acres tree farm. I've been fortunate for the last 32 years to manage this property that we're talking about for the Mullen family. I'm probably as familiar with this property as anybody in this room. I do not think there's a better site for a solar farm in the state of Virginia than here. Long Road has listened to the concerns and the feedback from the county and from citizens and has made numerous changes that have made this project even better. I've looked at the buffers and the management plans for the buffers. This site will be nearly invisible from the public. Seven Bridges Solar will provide a lot of revenue for Mecklenburg County and the town of Chase City. This will keep property taxes down for all the citizens of the county. I think it's time to move this project forward. Thank you for your time.
We have Cliff again.
Morning, me again. I just wanted to speak a little bit about the map that is also in your folders, showing the neighbors along Scotts Crossroads and how the majority of them are either supportive or neutral on the project. That map was something that we worked with our team last week to put together based on conversations with neighbors. And it includes the outreach that we've done to neighbors to accommodate larger buffers, increasing them in some areas from setbacks from 150 to 250 feet from property lines. And we're looking to continue to have constructive conversations with the neighbors and are pleased that we've been able to successfully engage with the community so far, and we'll continue to do that. We also have a petition signed by some of the neighbors that's in your folder, including neighbors along Scotts Crossroads. So you all have copies of that. So I just want to urge you to approve the siting agreement for Seven Bridges Solar. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Andy Koleski. I'm project manager with DEPCOM Power, the engineering, procurement, and construction firm, working with Bowman for the Seven Bridges Solar Project. DEPCOM Power was founded in 2014 and acquired by Koch Engineered Solutions. It's a Koch Industries company about 2.5 years ago. We currently have approximately 250 megawatts of solar constructed in Virginia and around 1 gigawatt of solar in construction or in pre-development in the state of Virginia. And that's not including projects elsewhere around the United States. I personally have supported and I'm continuing to support projects that are ongoing in Halifax, King William County, and Gloucester County. Couple reasons that Seven Bridges is different from other projects I've seen and why I strongly believe that it's well positioned to be very successful and positive for the community. As Cliff and some others have alluded to previously, there are 150 to 200 foot buffers from wetlands and streams, which is above minimum requirement and is a great way to reduce overall risk of the project and allow additional space for engineering of best management practices and other stormwater controls. Again, as mentioned, 400-foot landscape buffer from Scotts Crossroad. DEPCOM has a wealth of lessons learned and knowledge and experience that we're leading on to make this project and the design of the project successful and then following through execution and closeout. One other, benefit that DEPCOM is utilizing in the design of the project. For example, we're using Bowman Consulting, which is a local engineering firm. It was important to us to use someone that really understands the area in Virginia and has worked with a lot of different counties and DEQ closely. And then I know there's concerns about track out onto Scotts Crossroad, as with any construction project. Standard VDOT and VDEQ construction entrances are very important. Wash racks, wash stations, whatever will be done, whatever needs to be done will be done to minimize any track out and make sure that the roads are safe for the community. And then lastly, just would like to say that this is my first project working with Long Road Energy. They've been great to work with, and like others have said, it means a lot to DEPCOM that Long Road has great virtues and prioritizes community stewardship and the environment above all else for the success of the project. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, board members. My name is Charles Jackson. I live on Scotts Crossroads. You don't have to worry about me speaking for 3 minutes. I couldn't do that if my life depended on it. Anyway, I didn't have anything planned, but I'm in opposition of this solar project at the time. I think that eventually we will need a lot of different energies in this country, types. And I think solar is like everything else. It'll progress and get better and more. It won't bother people as far as the environmental things they talk about. Everybody here had good points and bad points. I think they're ugly too. And anyway, I just speaking against it. I would hope that y'all would just put it off, and maybe later on it'd be a good thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David D'Onofrio, 42821 Forest Spring Drive, Leesburg, Virginia. I'm actually going to take a few moments and read from an email that I believe the property owner, John Mullen, sent you all at the end of July. So I'm just going to read in part because he was unable to attend. At the upcoming public hearing on August 12th, I would like to provide the board with some useful background information regarding the proposed Seven Bridges solar project and the siting agreement that I'm asking you to approve. In 1992, my father-in-law, George Spalding, a lifelong resident of Chase City, and I purchased a large tract of land in Mecklenburg that had once been owned in the 1930s by Spalding Lumber Company. The tract was managed exclusively as a timber tract with periodic thinning, clearing, cutting, and replanting. Long Road and my family began working in 2016 to formulate the Seven Bridges project. Part of the origin of this project was based on the national need to create new American-based energy to help meet our county's growing energy needs. As currently proposed, Seven Bridges would acquire a portion of the remaining tract that is sufficient to accommodate a 499-acre solar array, as well as sufficient additional buffering to provide adequate buffers to ensure the project would not be visible to neighbors and roadside traffic. The project has been designed to ensure all local, state, and federal requirements are met. Seven Bridges owner, Long Road Energy, has a long history in constructing energy projects, and this project would fall within the overall maximum limit of 2,500 acres of solar mandated in Mecklenburg County. It would create meaningful jobs during construction and significant monetary benefits for the county and Chase City, including educational opportunities related to solar. It would also create additional revenue for the county with the change from agricultural to industrial real estate taxes. I believe we can all agree that landowners, including farmers, timber growers, recreational users, and those simply seeking to enjoy their property, should have the freedom to utilize their land as they see fit within guidelines established. Government mandates on how property owners should manage their land when unwarranted can be significantly detrimental, particularly those depending on their land for their livelihood. Ensuring that landowners can operate with autonomy supports not only their economic well-being, but also respects the fundamental property rights our nation was founded. From the standpoint of personal property usage, this project represents a higher and better use for the property for both my family and Mecklenburg County. I believe that this is a win-win for both and hope the project will receive favorable consideration. In conclusion, I believe Long Road Energy is an important partner for Mecklenburg County, and I strongly encourage you to support this siting agreement. Thank you for your time and consideration. And again, this was from the landowner, John Mullen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Jennings, members of the board. My name is Pascal Caputo. I am with First Solar. I'm here to support the use of our American-made solar panels at the Seven Bridges project. We believe that projects like Seven Bridges are an important part of an all-of-the-above energy strategy for our country. First Solar, headquartered in Tempe, Arizona, is America's largest manufacturer of solar panels. First Solar is also the only U.S. headquartered company among the world's largest solar panel manufacturers. Unlike many panel manufacturers, First Solar does not manufacture any solar panels in China. Not only do we manufacture in the U.S., but we also rely on a U.S. supply chain, creating jobs across America. We anticipate by 2026 that we will create 16,000 direct, indirect, and induced jobs in the United States. Cadmium telluride panels are a mature technology with more than 2 decades of deployment in the field. In the United States, more than 32% of the U.S. or of our solar capacity comes from cadmium telluride panels. So this is not a new niche technology. It's widely used across the country. Our panels are used in solar projects owned by some of the largest utilities in the United States, including Dominion Energy, AEP, which is the parent company of Appalachian Power, NextEra Energy, Duke Energy, and Southern Company. In addition, sophisticated corporate buyers like General Motors, Apple, and Google purchase power from solar farms powered by First Solar panels. All of this demonstrates a trust in our panel technology among highly informed end users that are responsible for the safety of their customers and neighbors. Our panels are also safe, proven technology. More than 50 researchers from leading institutes around the world have confirmed the safety and benefits of our First Solar technology. That's the binder I had 3 months ago, over 800 pages of studies documenting the safety of our panels. In more than 20 years of business, there have been no reported cases of our panels causing adverse impacts to human health or the environment, even after sustaining direct hits from tornadoes, hurricanes, and hail. There was a gentleman earlier that was talking about tornadoes. Wanted to point out there is a solar farm in California that used our solar panel technology. It was hit by a tornado, destroyed 150,000 panels. This project was on federal land. They did extensive testing, and after that, they determined there was no soil contamination, no environmental damage. Our panels have been used in close proximity to water. They're used at the Oceana Naval Air Station in Virginia Beach. And I would just say in closing that if the cadmium telluride panels aren't allowed to be used, the only option out there is going to be crystal and silicon panels, and those panels are primarily produced by Chinese companies. So I ask you to please support the Seven Bridges siting agreement. Thank you.
Lori Huber.
Hello. You asked me, I'm Lori Huber, Boydton, Highway 58. You asked us not to repeat what others have said. I think people have done a remarkable job covering important topics related to this project. I'm here to urge the board to vote in favor of moving this the Seven Bridges project along, moving it forward. I understand, again, not repeating what others have said, that there's some heartburn with the solar projects that have been done in the county historically. You guys were very good in embracing the concept of solar farms and approving several of them a few years ago. They were frankly built and completed, developed in less than ideal ways. Makes a lot of people have questions about them. I don't know how we get information about how much energy they're producing or not producing. I know there have been issues with sediment and erosion control, but I don't think that should be something that causes the board to say no ever after. I think Long Road has shown that they really do care about doing it right, and Mecklenburg can become an example of how to do a solar project the right way, what kind of requirements you insist on, how much you listen to the neighbors. People talk about the money. It shouldn't be all about the money. The money helps. People talk about sediment and erosion control. People talk about disposal of the panels. Those are legitimate concerns and should be in a plan that is approved or not approved or amended to correct areas where things aren't treated adequately, that talks about how you're going to avoid sediment and erosion control and what you're going to do to minimize disruption to the community during construction. Those are valid concerns, but they're not a reason to say no to a project. They're a reason to approve a project from a company that seems to be doing all the right things and wanting to do a good job, and maybe provide an example for future projects. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Jansen.
Chairman, members of the board. My name's John Jansen. I live in South Hill. On May 6th, I sent all of you a letter that laid out in detail a lot of things that were very questionable, if not illegal, that Long Road Energy was doing on their Halifax Foxhound project. After that, they had publicly stated that they would have a visit and take everybody to the project to show them the project. I don't know that that was ever done. I just want to point out that every solar developer that has stood here before you has lied, and that continues. If Long Road has not dealt with their illegal dumping and burning and come clean with the board about what's happened on the Foxhound project in Halifax, then this county does not need to deal with them. This needs to be shut down once and for all. As for the paid cheerleaders and the perfect site, etc., the reality is that these large contiguous tracts were not suitable for anything other than forestry. They are the exact wrong place to put this type of development. And that, back to Foxhound, I believe there's 53 failed stormwater ponds on that one site. The whole industry is in a disaster. My understanding, without going into great detail, is that Grasshopper is producing less than 20% of what it's rated to produce. When these companies realize that all they're generating is tax credits, they're going to run. And they're going to hang the county with the mess. And so seriously consider cleanup bond amounts, seriously consider just saying no until Dominion Energy and the current projects that have been approved here come clean with what they're really producing and the problems that they're really having, because it is a full-scale cover-up of a failed industry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woody Moore.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Woody Moore. I'm in Chase City, Virginia, not very far from here, in a place where another proposed site is being looked at. And I have many people that I grew up with in the area that this one is being proposed at. It's Scotts Crossroads. The bigger issue in this whole thing, he sort of just touched on some of it, is deception. And if people will really do your homework, it's being laid out beautiful. There is nothing green about solar as it stands today. And nobody can ever make me think otherwise, and everything that I've read and everything that I understand about it, and I have done my homework, and I'm not telling you something off the charts. These panels, everywhere they're being told about the mega wattage that they will produce, but none of them have produced the mega wattage. There are some in Buckingham right now that I know people that keep tabs on that particular ones that I'm talking about, Cumberland and Buckingham, and the mega wattage is nowhere near being reached. It's only a small percentage. The other part of it is erosion. It's the erosion control. We keep talking about that. I've got video where I witnessed on Spanish Grove Road, all those solar farms there, in this spring, not Debbie, in this spring when we had a big rain, water was all out through the trees and everywhere else. No retention pond was holding any part of it. Retention pond on one of the farms, the water was going around the retention pond. And I got told by the other solar group that was coming into Chase City that's talking about the one in front of me, how they would do better. They could do better. Where they're talking about is similar to the Meharon River Basin where this one is being placed, has a lot of marsh or wetland near it that are going to run to our rivers. We found out the other day in South Hill with what happened. We now have all this contaminated water in our rivers and in Lake Gaston. We have people down east of us that are receiving their drinking water from these waters. All of this is going to be affected, and we can be told all sorts of things, but it is the runoff on solar panels is just like our building tops that we're taxed for in many places because it goes to the Chesapeake Bay, and we're so concerned about it, but we don't seem to be concerned about it here. and then taking down a forest to put up solar panels, and that's because we got all excited about it being put in a farm. We're going to take down a forest. Oh, it's better, or it's this, or we're going to replant it when it's over with. Well, if you have it there for 30 years, no forest that's been cut down that doesn't get replanted unless it's used for agriculture is replanted within 5 years. This is talking 30 years with nothing but grass. And that grass is not being controlled, and we're also being deceived and told we can use sheep and all of that. That's already been looked at, and I know a place that has the sheep. But the cost and all that was involved in those sheep being in there does not jive, and they will not spend the money to be able to do that. We need to understand those things. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm against.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Aaron Pettigo, I'm with Long Road Energy. I work in Long Road's construction management group. I've worked in the construction of utility scale renewable projects for 17 plus years, the last nearly 7 of which have been with Long Road. Long Road as a company has constructed 3.8 gigawatts of projects. We have another just over 1 megawatt or 1 gigawatt of projects that are currently under construction across the country. I guess my intention here is to outline that while you've heard from a number of folks from Long Road both today and previously, and they will remain involved in the project, during the construction phase of the project, folks on my team will be on site full-time, and they are going to carry out a number of functions, including holding ourselves and our project partners, several of which are here today and have spoken, accountable for our obligations and our commitments. We're also going to provide resources for neighbors, public officials, both from Mecklenburg County, VDOT, VADQ, and otherwise. Should there be questions, discussion topics, whatever, those folks are going to be on site to serve as the face of the project in the face of Long Road. The construction team is also going to ensure the project is built in a quality manner, and that we can turn it over to Long Road's long-term operations and maintenance team for the operation of the project and ensure that the project is able to meet its contractual commitments to provide the energy output that it is under contract to provide. I will also just note, I guess tying back to a couple of the previous speakers, myself and our construction team was involved with the Foxhound Solar Project in Halifax County, and I would invite anyone on the board here to speak with members from Halifax County that were involved in the project, ask questions about the project. There's certainly nothing to hide there, and I think they will speak to the fact that we've done what we said we were going to do, and that they consider both Long Road and the project in good standing. In closing, I just respectfully request the board to approve and execute the siting agreement so that we can continue into the remaining phases of permitting for the project. This carefully thought out and well teed up project is ready for those phases and ultimately be placed in service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Darren.
Good morning, Chairman Jennings, Board of Supervisors. My name is Darren Lawrence. I'm an ecologist, and I'm also head of environmental at Long Road Energy, where I've been since the company started back in 2016. When I first came to Mecklenburg County, like I do everywhere I go, I read your comprehensive plan, and 2 things really jumped out at me. You wanted to maintain the rural character of your county, and you really cared about the environment, your water, your soil, your rivers, and those are 2 things that I've tracked since I've been thinking about this project from the very beginning. So when I looked at John Mullen's land, I just thought this is among our best projects in the country. I mean, this is a project where we can build a solar site and it'll be really hidden from view. But more than that, there are a couple areas along Scott's Crossroads where I targeted early and we said, look, we need to make sure we have a screening plan that makes sure when people are driving up and down that road or you're in those houses that you still can't see the project. So talking to Robert Hendrick and others in the county, that 150-foot setback wasn't enough. We wanted to go to 400 feet. We needed more land because if you're looking through those trees, you want to make sure you can't see the project, and that was our goal. More than that, you'll see in your packet a forest buffer management plan. You know, pine trees grow up and then they self-prune and then you can see through the understory. It occurred to me, you can have a condition that says you're gonna have a buffer, but if you're operating a project, someone might forget you need to cut the trees down to get new trees to grow to make sure you have young growth to make sure you can't see through the trees. That forest buffer management plan is meant to say for the life of the project, you're gonna have successional phases of pine trees and other plants that'll create that screen so you can't see through the understory. So I offer that to say, we're gonna follow the permit conditions, but we're gonna go beyond that and define ways to implement the very things we're saying we're gonna do, and we're gonna hand those instructions over to the people that have to carry that out. So we think hard about how to succeed. The second thing I wanna point out is regarding the water and soil, and especially the Meharon River. Again, we have put a 400-foot buffer in. We've got a stormwater practices presentation in that packet, and we innovate. Up in the state of Maine, which has terrain kind of like Virginia and rainfall like Virginia, we had the DEP come out and they trained the people for their own inspections at our site, and contractors and developers. At Fox Sound, same thing. One of the best sites that has been seen in the state of Virginia by a stormwater inspector. So I encourage you to look at the way we've implemented projects in Halifax, our care for the environment, our care for how to implement a project really well. And as you can see from the neighbors that we have a lot of success from on that map that you have in your packet, we have listened really closely to you, to the neighbors, to the community, and we'll continue to listen to build a good project. So we feel like a lot of people have put confidence in us. We ask you to put that same confidence in us and support our siting agreement. So thank you very much.
Last, we have Monty Hightower.
Ladies and gentlemen, board, thank y'all for letting me speak. My name is Monty Hightower. Live 247 Autumn Lane, which is off of Spanish Grove. I travel Spanish Grove 3 or 4 times a day, so I know what the solar farms look like. My backyard is 400 feet from the Otter Creek project. As they were building the project, we walked through the project over the weekends to see the progress. I haven't had any problems with the Otter Creek project. I know the energy project, which I go by several times a day, we got some concerns with that, but that was the first one, so didn't nobody know what was going on. But I would like to express my support for the Seven Bridges project. The town of Chase City is looking forward to that because we have been struggling, trying to find ways to build recreational projects for the people and the young children of Chase City. I'm sure y'all know how hard it is to come by money, and Chase City has a hard time coming by it. But I've been talking with the people from Seven Bridges for 5 or 6 years, and they have listened to every suggestion that I have made. So I feel pretty confident they're going to do a good job. And, I think that's covered pretty much everything, but one thing that our pastor at church said, sometimes God doesn't give you what you want, God gives you what you need. So I'd like y'all to think about that too. And thank y'all.
Thank you. Is that all you have? Hearing no more speakers, we will now close the public hearing. This is my district, District 7. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution rejecting the siting agreement with Seven Bridge Solar LLC. Any comments from the board at this time before we vote? Hearing no comments, Jenny, you want to do a roll call vote?
Ms. Blackwell?
No.
Mr. Rankin?
Yes for the motion.
What?
Motion.
So the motion was
Motions to reject, to deny.
So I'm
Okay.
I'm agreeing with the
Yeah,
motion.
okay.
Mr. Tanner?
Yes.
Mr. Gravitt?
Yes.
Mr. Spence?
Yes, agree.
Ms. Lundy,
Yes, agree with the motion.
Mr. Wilkinson?
No.
Mr. Hargrove?
Yes, agree with the motion.
Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
2 noes.
7-2, the motion carries. Before we move to our next application, I'll give the people with Seven Bridges that spoke on that a minute to leave. You're more than welcome to stay. We'd be glad for you to stay, but I'll give you a minute or two to leave if you feel like you need to leave.
Yes. I wasn't afraid of that.
Real good.
They got no room.
Yes. But don't, it's okay. You got me confused. Because I thought you were with me. It's okay.
Hey, we still love you. We still love you.
That's what I kind of, what I saw, like, who now?
Okay, moving along then, we'll go to our next application. Mr. Hendrick?
Yes, sir. You have an application by AENLB Investments LLC to rezone from agricultural to residential R1-A. This property is identified as partial record number 39843 and county tax number 035-000-06-001 and is zoned agriculture located on the south side of Route 660 Draper Road, approximately 1.6 miles east of its intersection with 671 Country Club Drive. Election District 7, County of Mecklenburg, reference D-Book LR-23-2689 and Wheel Book WF-23-295.
Okay. Anyone wishing to speak on behalf of this application? Hearing no one, I will now open the public hearing on this application. Anyone wishing to speak in the public hearing? Hearing no one, I'll close the public hearing. That is also my district. I will make a motion to approve this application.
With the Planning Commission's recommendation.
With the Planning Commission's recommendations. Okay. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, you have an application by Wright Forestry LLC to rezone from agriculture to industrial. I need to back up one, sorry.
Skip one.
Application by David Jones for a special exception permit to construct 2 recreational vehicle sites. This property identified as partial record number 19161 and county tax number 136000-A-088A is on agriculture located on the east side of Highway 1, approximately 1 mile south of its intersection with 663 Cedar Grove Road. Election District 1, County of Mecklenburg, reference D-Book B&P-397-265.
Anyone wishing to speak on behalf of the application? Hearing none, I will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on the public hearing? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. What are the wishes of the board? District 1.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we receive the recommended application by the Planning Commission.
Motion has been made to accept the application. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Okay, you had an application by Wright Forestry LLC to rezone from agricultural to industrial M1 for proposed data center. This property identified as county tax number 131000-A-054 and partial record number 33111 It is zoned as agriculture and located on the north side of Route 707 Phyllis Road and approximately 300 feet west of its intersection with Newman Subdivision Road. Election District 8, County of Mecklenburg, reference Deed Book LR-23-3793 and Wheel Book WF-17-204.
Okay, anyone wishing to speak on behalf of this application?
Hello, I'm Joseph Sneed with Dewberry Engineers in Danville, representing the property owner. Let's see. We're also working with the county and VDOT for collaboration and support for this project. I'm here with Kristen, and we're here with the Land Development Department Community Affairs team for Microsoft's data center organization. We're proud to represent Microsoft and our global data center team on this important occasion. There's data centers throughout the county already, and they provide the physical infrastructure for the technology we depend on at work and in our personal lives. So when you use an app on your phone or get into a virtual classroom or meeting, save photos, play video games online, or any other online connections with people, you're using a data center. The site selection was guided by input from the community, the local authority having jurisdiction, and the Virginia Department of Transportation. The reasons for choosing this site are easy access to Highway 58. The site utilizes existing roadway infrastructure, ensuring no impact on the secondary road network. This is an expansion of an existing campus, which is here, as you can see. This is an existing secluded campus, meaning it won't introduce a new facility to the area. There's minimalized impacts to wetlands that we've worked to accomplish, and the site has readily available power resources to support the project. Right now, in this blue area is where we're planning to show possibly 1 to 5 data centers, but are still in the master planning process, with an additional substation and wet utilities. The energy team is providing input for power feeds inside the site to internal engineering groups, and utility plans and designs for infrastructure have routes to the site. Currently, there's no input that Microsoft has for the route or design of delivery. The construction timeline will be anywhere from 4 to 7 years, with factors like workforce staffing, long lead permitting of approximately 2 years, supply chain issues, long lead equipment, power delivery that will need to be accounted for to make the most efficient schedule. And Microsoft will be providing regular updates to the county and community if the rezoning of the parcel is approved. We're also working with a consultant to review the secondary road network, and we'll work with VDOT in the county to ensure that we're in full compliance with local regulations. The team is working with the county to address any water infrastructure concerns and is working on ways to fund and improve infrastructure. And the workforce team that Microsoft has is best equipped to address questions about job creation, but until we finalize the number and size of the data centers, cannot provide specific job creation numbers to assist the county in planning for regional growth. Once we have more information, we'll continue to communicate with the county for better future planning.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now open the public hearing on this application. Anyone wishing to speak? Please come to the podium, state your name.
Yes, my name is Daniel Hendrick, and I spoke here at the meeting back in June and had concerns about the goings around of the travel on the highways and the safety and whatnot of the data centers. I don't stand here in opposition of data centers. I don't stand here in opposition of progress. I stand here in opposition of the lack of concern and the endless circle of trying to make certain Our highways are being destroyed with heavy equipment flying up and down the road, no regard for traffic signs. A request has been made to reduce the speed limit on Highway 58, and it's been ignored. I was just informed that an additional form had to be completed by Microsoft personnel again to try to get that done. I would appreciate it if you all would look into these plans and ensure that any and all concerns are taken care of before any more approvals for any more data centers being built have been looked at and confirmed, and it will not allow these people to come in here and not abide by what I consider the law in following speed limits, safety concerns, and all of those items. Once again, this is not a site that is close to me, but I'm fed up with not being heard. Down at the Ridge site, 2 months, I still have no resolution on anything that I questioned. I thank you for your time, and I want you to consider this deeply because this is a major corporation, and I keep getting told that we don't have the resources to monitor what's being built now. What's going to happen when more buildings are being built and we still don't have the resources to make it work right? I'm for making things work right, work even, and I'm for growth in this county. But we got to think about the residents who live here as well. That's important. Thank you all for your consideration, and I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. That is also my district. I will make a motion to approve this application. Any discussion?
Mr. Jennings, I know with the planning commission, we talked about it and won't mention, but it's no access to Phyllis Road on this. Everything has to come out of Herbert's Drive. It wasn't nothing. We made that real clear and all. And I think we all learning and working better with trying to prepare things going forward with the roads and stuff like that, and getting VDOT and all that more involved. I think, you know, if I ring like some of the first solos, we've learned a few lessons along the way too. So just wanted to make that and all. But the other thing is these two applications that we got here now, the two for the, they are right there adjoining the existing where Microsoft is and all. So I don't think that's a big problem. I don't have a big problem with that. The biggest problem I think I had, and I mentioned to the Microsoft people last time, when they get spread out all over the county, then you have to run the power lines across that there. And these power lines are taking up as much land as the data centers are. And I think that's where we need to be more concerned. If we're going to have growth, then they need to stay kind of where they at, you know, kind of in one area, not all over the county. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. The motion carries. Mr. Hendrick.
The application by Wright Forestry LLC to rezone from agricultural to industrial M1 for proposed data center. This property identified as county tax number 132000-A-004 and partial record number 3269 is zoned agricultural and is located approximately 3,431 feet south of Route 838 Herbert Drive, adjoining partial record number 33111, Election District 7, County of Mecklenburg, reference deed book LR-7-3727. Yes, and these have 19 conditions on both.
Okay, so both of them have the same conditions that
Yes,
we
sir.
have. Okay. And I'm sure anybody that wants to see those conditions can check with staff and
Yes, sir.
And get those. So, all right, anyone wishing to speak on behalf of the application? Hearing none, we'll open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak during the public hearing? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Mr. Franklin, I believe that's your district.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We approve this application under the recommendations of the planning commission.
Motion been made. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Hendrick.
Sir.
Jenny, back into public comment again. Alex.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Morning.
Chairman Jennings. I'm here because I was contacted by the Board of Directors for the Virginia Hunting Dog Alliance, which I'm a member, and also the president of the Mecklenburg County Dog Alliance. Over the recent years, DWR has conducted a survey on trying to end hound hunting in the state of Virginia, which I know several of you do know, and some in the room with me know. Hound hunting in Virginia is a long-term heritage that we've all supported. Mecklenburg County years ago adopted the resolution for dog hunting in this county. Excuse me. The regulation that they're trying to adopt is 4 VAC 15-40-320. I have copies of all the information that was done through the study. It was an independent study that was done through UVA. They found that less than 3% of problems with hound hunting throughout the state. I also have attached for each one of y'all today, excuse me, is a letter that was wrote by a delegate in this district that was sent to the governor opposing this regulation for all the rural Virginia and throughout the state of Virginia hunters that like hunting with dogs. When the regulation first came out, it was going after all hound trespassing, which included, even if you, Mr. Gravitt, had a Labrador that came across Mr. Tanner's property, you could file for a misdemeanor, and of course, he would get charged, go to court. If it happened again, then it would go to a felony. And everybody understands the laws that indicate with misdemeanors and felonies. So they went back and reread it and re-amended the document through the board, and they decided that they wanted to exclusively go towards hound hunting with deer dogs and bear. That being said, we have over 1,000 deer and bear hunters in this county. We still have strong pride in our traditions in this county, being as I've already mentioned that we have the hound dog or deer dog resolution, that we are a hound hunting county in Mecklenburg, and we do stand as a strong force in Richmond, just this county alone, in support of hound hunting. I would like y'all to review this proposal. I'd like to see the board adopt a letter similar to this delegate's letter and send it to the governor in regards to opposing this bill that DWR is trying to present forward. If this is brought forward, this will really intimidate and hurt hunting. I know I started when I was a young man. I got kids doing it today. I'd like to continue to do it without any recourse or, wrongdoing in my community. We stand strong in our values of hunting the correct way. I do realize there are 1 or 2 percenters. There are 1 or 2 percenters in everything from politics to police to hunters in general. But this is a law that will really, really hurt our declining already hunting industry, not just hound hunting, but hunting in general. And our kids deserve to grow up hunting like all of us did in the fine state of Virginia. So please take consideration into it, draft a letter, send it to Governor Youngkin, revoking and opposing this bill. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have George Toombs. Do you want to speak again?
George Toombs, Sachs, Virginia. As I listen to some of the comments today, one of the overtones I keep hearing is that seems to be an urging of boards, and I've heard it at this board and other boards, and it's almost an overtone that if y'all vote down, that Richmond is going to take the power away from the locality. Well, if it belongs with the locality, it's supposed to be y'all's right, and y'all did to vote something down, but that almost sounds like a threatening overtone, and I'd like to point that out. And also, as far as the man making the comments on the hound hunting, it's mighty disappointing that there's nothing that I see that's going to be as devastating, not laws or anything else, to hound hunting as the influx of chain link fences and solar panels. I also heard talk today, and the idea arose about tornadoes. What's so dangerous with tornadoes when it's spread out is flying debris. And in warfare, they load cannons with grape shot, and people that go bird hunting with bird shot. Just imagine a massive tornado coming through and carrying a path of slinging glass and going for as it goes forward, as far as public safety goes. These are some ideas. I keep hearing landowner rights come up, and so many of the landowners that I've grown up around, known, heard about, they haven't shown such an interest in landowner rights until they've wanted to do with their properties what was gainful benefit to them the way they were seeing it. But when it affected others or smaller people, I didn't see them going to board meetings and making a big deal over landowner rights. These are some things I wanted brought forward today, and I want more clarity. And I want more clarity about these solar panels, the data centers, the solar farms, and everything about what the actual tax base is and what these panels will be actually producing. Thank you for your time.
Next, I've got John Jansen.
Yep.
Woody Moore.
Yeah, good morning to you board members. Woody Moore, Chase City, Virginia. My thing is sort of somewhat behind some of what was said there. I didn't hear as much of it today as I think we should have. I don't know why people won't show up, because everybody I talk to has got a different opinion than what seems to be going on here. When it comes to these solar farms, it comes to all the industrial things that's going on in our county. And I know we need progress. We need jobs for folks. But I pay attention, because if you go in any of these sites and anything that's going on, that gas thing that's going on over on what used to be Percy Ashworth's place, I don't know who owned it in between, but they have it in it working onto the natural gas and onto the power line there. Just about everything going in there has got an out-of-state tag on it. It's not our folks doing that work. And maybe some over there from us, I don't know, but majority of them. The other was addressed a while ago. While they're going in and out of there, they've blocked the road for hours at a time. There's nobody directing traffic or anything else. People have had to drive over in the ditch. They've drove over and tore up the ditch and didn't come back and fix it. Furthermore, over on the road coming here, right off of 92, right behind me, Cox Road, we've got that blocked now for I don't know how long, and will be for I don't know how long, for Microsoft, for the data center. For the locals, we can't use the road like we should be able to use. And these kind of things are disruptive to our lives, okay? And when I say that, it's my understanding we want to keep our county rural. It's not rural anymore. It won't be rural. The way it's going is going far away from rural. Solar farms on a farm is not good in my opinion, but even more, as I said earlier, when we take down forest and calling it green, there's nothing green about it. And if we do our homework, we're going to find out, it's already being found out in other places, that when they are at the end of their time, the lie or the deception that we have been told that they will take them out and all of this stuff, no, they cannot. It's my understanding there's going to be issues on that. And I know you'd have to research it, and I want to do more research on it. All I'm asking for you is if you will please pay attention to some of these things, because it is affecting the residents here that have been here all along. Thank you.
That's all? Okay. Kevin, I believe it's your turn.
Patiently
You're
waiting.
always pretty efficient.
You said, can you move him up?
Been way too serious this morning. We gotta lighten it up a little bit.
All right, y'all got our monthly report. A few things I want to go over. Give you a few stats. Tropical Storm Debbie, we had 47 trees. VDOT worked 47 trees throughout the county. That's not including what fell on the interstate or the trees that our local fire department and citizens moved out the road. Currently, we have one road closed at 682 Mill Creek Road. That's in between Antioch Church and Epps Fort due to high lake levels. We're going to continue to monitor the lake. It's a possibility we're going to have a couple more roads to close up due to that. Regular maintenance, second round of primary mowing was completed last month. We're starting to do the second round of secondary mowing. I don't know if y'all probably noticed Route 58 bridge approach paving is going on. We've got 11 bridges targeted on 58. I think they're maybe halfway done right now. They're going to still continue on working on them. Hopefully we got a good week this week of paving and weather, and we can get some more knocked out. Route 58 mile markers are being installed. I think they've got them all on the westbound lane now. I think they're going to turn around. I think they're on the eastbound lane installing them now as we speak. And our area headquarters was able to do some shoulder work between La Crosse and Broadnax. Most of that was on the left-hand lane to get ponding water off on the side of the road, which I think we got that done just in time before Debbie hit. The rural rustic projects, we're going to break ground on Dry Creek and All Goods Lane this month and get them started. That's all I've got, unless y'all have got something.
You know we always do.
Yes, sir.
The mile markers look good. It's nice to know how far you are from the Cumberland Gap. I'll say that. In La Crosse, in front of Freeman's down there, the outdoor place, they've got a terrible issue there, and y'all stay on top of it and try to fix it and everything else, but they have a terrible issue there every time it rains with it washing. And I know it's been a couple dump truck loads of gravel that's probably been washed down that pipe down there. If there's anything else we can do with that to try to remedy that situation.
The right shoulder in front of Freeman.
Yeah, it washes out every time, and I mean, sometimes it's a foot deep. And I did notice the other day, y'all cleaned the ditches out very nicely, but the crossover right there above him, the pipes clogged up because it was running over that crossover the other day.
All right, we'll take a look at that and see what we can do.
And
with
the little ramps are looking good at the bridges. They've smoothed out some.
Okay.
That's all I got, Mr.
That's all you got? Anyone else?
Just comment that I noticed the work that's been done looks really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
The 58 speed study, we talked to our traffic engineer. As far as a reduction of speed, the speed limit itself, that does not look like that's going to happen. We do believe that a reduction in a work zone speed limit is something that's possible. We're just waiting for the contractor to give us some information on their traffic plans and everything, and so our traffic engineer team can review them and approve them. So we think work zone speed is something that can be done out there.
Okay.
Good enough.
I've got one question.
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious. It's only curiosity.
Okay.
But I've noticed kind of over the years, I was just curious as to when you go around South Hill and Boyden, it's 55 and Clarksville 60. And I was always just as curious as to why that shook out the way it did.
Well, from what I can understand, the Boyton one out here on the Boyton bypass, that's still at 55 due to 92 coming in, that intersection exchange right there, because it has been a crash history there. And plus you've got the business loops coming in. So that's from what I can understand there. South Hill, you've got the industrial park right there on that bypass that's keeping that. Clarksville, when they built the bypass right there, they stuck it at 60, and it's been remaining at 60. So
we like to go fast.
Yeah. and when VDOT sets speed limits, they set speed limits for maximum safe speed. They do not set speed limits 10 miles an hour lower to try to keep cars to run.
Right.
We don't set them for 55 to try to keep people to keep them under 60.
Right.
We don't play that game. It's maximum safe speed.
I was just curious. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right.
That it?
Yes, sir. See you
All right.
next month.
Thank you. All right, we got the Agricultural Development Committee. I'll be reading that report. The Agricultural Development Committee met on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Dogwood Room, 313 Franklin Street, South Hill, Virginia. Members present: Jim Jennings, Chairman; David Brankley, Sterling Wilkinson, Taylor Clark, Bill McBride, Chris Jones, Mark Warren, Irvin Matthews, Mark Moody, and Chris Ramey. Members absent: Chuck Nelson, Brian Calhoun, Mark Brankley. Also present: Andy Hargrove, Claudia Lundy, Brenda Blackwell, Tom Tanner, Kirk Gravitt, Dennis Spence, Avery Lane, Candace Wilson, Davy Harris, Alex Gottschall, Judy Sheffield, Jenny Whittemore. Chairman Jennings called the meeting to order. Mr. Hargrove gave the invocation. Mr. Taylor Clark gave a report on the activities of the Virginia Cooperative Extension, followed by an update from Ms. Jennifer Bowen on the Extension Office's 4-H program and upcoming camp. Ms. Candace Wilson gave the committee an update on the Farm Service Agency and the current programs that are available. Mr. Davy Harris provided an update from the Natural Resources Conservation District. Mr. Avery Lane discussed the current programs and activities of the Lake Country Soil and Water District. Mr. Ben Rowe, National Affairs Coordinator with Virginia Farm Bureau, gave the board a presentation on land use in Virginia and the current status of farmland in the U.S. Mr. Mike Callahan with 3TP consultant firm that is currently updating Mecklenburg County's comprehensive plan discussed future land use within the county. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned. Anyone like to make any comments about the meeting we have? I think they all very educational every time we have one of those meetings, and both of our speakers brought things to the table that probably will be addressed by this board sometime in the pretty close future, probably. Anyone else have anything they'd like to comment?
I think it was a very good meeting. I mean, it's good. Not being from the agricultural side, it was very informative, and they bring out a lot of good information.
Mr. Jennings, was it, did he make, was the figure right, over the last 5 years in the state of Virginia, we had lost, like, was it 500,000 acres?
It's like losing 1 million a year in the country.
Yeah.
I think it was 500,000.
Over the last 5 years to growth, solar, industrial, and development stuff, yeah. That's a kind of a staggering number that will probably increase.
Yeah, he was going to send me that presentation, but I don't have it. I'm going to get it from him because there was some good information within that, that map that he had of the state of Virginia with the counties that, you know, had land use and the different agricultural things and how they were handling it and that kind of thing was pretty good information.
Absolutely.
So I'll get that. I'll give him a call today and get that.
I think our comprehensive plan is winding down, isn't it, Alex?
Yes, that's right. We will be in the draft phase of the document, should be coming out here shortly, and then we'll have in the fall public hearing and adoption. So we're looking probably around adoption around November, December timeframe.
Okay.
Question, please.
Yes, ma'am.
For land that has been used for solar, and if the panels and all were to be removed at a later period, would the land be recoverable for farming?
Well, we've been trying to decide that for about 10 years now. So, but we don't know yet because, you know, we haven't gone through a 40-year cycle where the panels are destroyed and the land is reclaimed, so nobody's done that yet. So really, we don't know. Yeah, if you would, please.
It's been some time back, but I did watch the video through Virginia Tech on restoring solar projects after their life expectancy is ended. And basically what's in that seminar that was done by Virginia Tech is there's 3 phases that it has to go through. 1, you have to till the soil. 2, you have to bring the topsoil back in, and about the only thing that you're going to grow on it is going to be grass. It would not go, it wouldn't produce any crop production at all.
No trees.
You can
Nope.
grow trees, I guarantee. If you can grow grass, you can grow trees.
That's basically what they said. And I still got the
Fertilize that grass, hard fertilizing trees.
I still have the handout. So I kept it. And
Yeah.
it was an interesting seminar done through Virginia Tech. So
Okay.
the 3 phases you have to go to get it back into crop production of any type.
I know I saw some information where it was planned for 1.4 million acres to go in solar across the country in the southeast and slightly west of the Mississippi River. In the next 5 or 6 years, it's a lot of property. All right, moving right along. Ms. Lundy, I think you're next. The Joint Education Committee?
Yes. The meeting was called to order by Claudia Lundy, Committee Chair. Members pledge allegiance to the flag. Roll call. Members present, Claudia Lundy, Ms. Brenda Blackwell, Board of Supervisors, Mr. Glenn Edwards, School Board, Mr. David Brinkley, Ms. Dora Garner, and Mr. Ricky Allgood were absent. Also present was Mr. Alex Gauchow, County Administrator, Dr. Scott Warner, Superintendent, Mr. Brian Dalton, Executive Director of Facilities and Operations, Mr. Mike Callahan, Representing Ventures, and Mrs. Paula Gamamito, Clerk. Adoption of the agenda. Mr. Edwards made a motion, seconded by Ms. Blackwell, to adopt the agenda. The agenda was adopted with all members voting aye. Information item, Clarksville Elementary School project update. Mr. Brian Dalton. Mr. Dalton provided an update on the Clarksville Elementary School project. The project is still on budget and on schedule for substantial completion in April 2025. Mr. Dalton played a video of the progress at Clarksville Elementary. The video may be seen on Board Doc. B, Chase City Elementary School project, Mr. Brian Dalton. Mr. Dalton presented the conceptual design proposal from Blair Construction and Graham and Parker. The proposed design will include the 2013 edition and the gym and remove the 1960 and 1980 edition of the building. The floor plan is different from Clarksville Elementary in order to fit the lot. The proposed vehicle entrances are the existing entrances. Car riders drop-off loop can accommodate up to 50 cars. The design will also keep the current fueling station. The new building will hold 500 students and will be expanded to accommodate 600 students. The elementary school zone boundaries were adjusted and the new zone take effect in 2030. The construction timeline for Chase City was presented and may be seen on Board Doc. The Board of Supervisors will need to approve the intern agreement for the design and pre-construction phase at our August 12th meeting. The school board will approve the intern agreement on August the 19th, and the design commences. The design phase is scheduled for completion in May 2025. The moving of equipment and supplies and demolition is scheduled for June 2025. December 2026, substantial completion, and March 2027, final completion. Mr. Edward made a motion, seconded by Ms. Blackwell, that the Joint Education Committee recommends that the Board of Supervisors, the public entity designed by 56-575.1 of the Code of Virginia, authorize the school board to enter into intern agreement as provided for by 56-575.91 of the Code of Virginia for design and pre-construction phase services with Blair Construction for the redevelopment of Chase City Elementary School in accordance with the school board May the 20th, 2024 resolution to select Blair Construction for this project. The motion passed with all members voting aye. I would like to pause and make a motion to that effect. I move that the Board of Supervisors, the public entity designed by 56-575.1 of the Code of Virginia, authorize the school board to enter into an intern agreement as provided for by 56-575.91 of the Code of Virginia for design and pre-construction phase services with Blair Construction for the redevelopment of Chase City Elementary School in accordance with the school board May the 20th, 2024 resolution to select Blair Construction for this project and the recommendation of the Joint Education Committee on August the 7th, 2024.
Okay, everyone has heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, a little more. Alternative learning building. Mr. Brian Dalton also. The Alternative Learning Program has been renamed the Phoenix Academy. Construction is complete and will be ready to open on Monday, August the 12th, which is today. 16 students will start the school year in the new Phoenix Academy building. A security vestibule was added to the main entrance of the building. There are 2 classrooms, a meeting room, a kitchenette/break room, and a storage blank copy room, and the ADA compliance restroom. The agriculture department will have access to the building as needed, and as long as there is no interruption to student learning. Lunches will be delivered by the complex cafeteria. The students will have modified physical education and be able to take the same classes as the students attending the middle or high school, except for some of the CTE classes. Mr. Dalton provided pictures of the renovated building, which may be seen on board doc. D, Student Service Building, Mr. Brian Dalton also. Mr. Dalton provided pictures of the construction progress of the Student Service Building. The building has space for student testing and all-site collaboration, as well as large service interests to receive large freight orders. The pictures may be seen on Dr. also. E, and finally, Comprehensive Plan Student Survey, Mr. Mike Callahan from 3TP Ventures. Mr. Callahan provided a presentation to the committee regarding the student survey conduct as of the Mecklenburg County 20-year comprehensive plan. 275 students participated in the survey, answering 84% of the questions. The most common complaints were the lack of activities available for students, lack of recreational options, and job training opportunities. Mr. Gaucho commended the students for taking part in the survey, recognized the need for more youth-oriented activities, and will look at ways to accommodate the youth schedule. Transportation to already existing activities seem to be the largest obstacle in the county. Community members may access the county comprehensive plan through the web MECK44.com. A draft plan will be presented in September with the final plan by October or November. The presentation may be seen on board doc. Adjournment. The meeting adjourned at 11:05 a.m. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Lundy.
Ms. Jennings.
Yes.
One question there. First of all, Ms. Lundy, I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but the alternative learning building that it's called now, I know at first we had that for the ag, totally. But we kind of agree with them they could do this. But I was kind of under the impression they was going to kind of still go down and build something a little different and have it for the ag. Now, it says on here the agriculture department will have access to the building kind of long as it don't interfere with the other one. So to me, that ain't really sharing,
But when they're not in session, when the school time not in session, that's when the ag can use it for a meeting or
The ag
something.
can use it when they're not in session, but I would assume they're going to be in session most of the day when you.
Yeah, most of the day, yes.
So that don't sound like the ag. I mean, how many of them going to be there after 3 o'clock to use the, I just think that it's kind of gotten swept away a little bit because like I said, I was under the impression that we give up that and we were going to go down and build something kind of closer to the barn or a little bit down out of way or something and all.
Well, it's not a major place for that, so you can use it for that purpose. You know what I'm saying? If you have a meeting or something.
But it has to be after 3 o'clock.
Yeah, yes.
I'm just thinking
Oh,
there'll
when
be
the
a lot
school
of needs
not in
after 3
session,
o'clock.
yes.
I probably need to get home and go to work.
But it's mainly the Phoenix Academy. But you can use it sometime.
They can use it sometime. That's my problem.
Well, maybe we need to build another ag building.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well,
I thought that's what it
they
was
building
too.
a service building. Maybe you could use that sometime.
I'm sure Alex has got money to build one.
I think they could use the service building, Alex.
So my understanding, and again, I'm not if we have questions, we should get the superintendent
Right.
here and have them have the conversation.
Yeah.
But when the lead ag instructor had presented joint education a few months ago, What he mentioned was that most of the instructional activity related to the program, the academic portion of it, happens actually in the school. The classes happen in the school, so there's not need for a separate classroom space. The hands-on activity space, they already have with the fields, with the barns. What the classrooms out there were designed to do, I guess, in their vision, which may have been different than what was, presented in 2016-17, but was to use it as an FFA kind of meeting club space, which can still be done because the club would be meeting in an after-school time frame, which would align with the building becoming available.
Right. Yeah, I just think we need to maybe monitor that a little bit, make sure that that's working out.
Okay. You gonna stay on top of that then?
Yeah, I'll check back on that again.
Good. Anyone else have any questions? All right, Mr. Tanner, I think you're up next.
All right. The Economic Development Committee met on Monday, August 12th, 2024 at 8:15 a.m. in the Supervisors Meeting Room, Boydton, Virginia. Members present: Tom Tanner, David Brankley, Sterling Wilkerson, and Dennis Smith. Others present: Jim Jennings, Andy Hargrove, Brenda Blackwell, Alex Gottschalk, County Administrator, Angie Kellett, Economic Development Director, Jenny Whittemore, Clerk. The chairman called the meeting to order. Mr. Gottschalk reviewed the bids received for the Roanoke River Business Park Turn Lane. He advised that 2 bids were received, with the lowest bid of $1,868,450 received from J.R. Caskey Incorporated. Upon a motion of Mr. Brankley, the committee voted unanimously to recommend awarding the bid to the Roanoke River Business Park Turn Lane to J.R. Caskey Incorporated in the amount of $1,868,450. Mr. Chairman, I'll pause there and make a motion that we award this bid for this Roanoke River Business Park Turn Lane to J.R. Caskey in the amount of $1,868,450.
Okay. Y'all have heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the motion carries.
All right. Mr. Gottschalk reviewed the bids for the Route 58 turn lane between Hayes Mill and Ridge Road. He advised that 2 bids were received, with the lowest bid of $1,847,500 received from Hames Brothers Incorporated. Upon a motion of Mr. Brankley, the committee voted unanimously to recommend awarding the bid for the Route 58 turn lane between Hayes Mill Road and Ridge Road to Hames Brothers Incorporated in the amount of $1,847,500. Mr. Chairman, again, I'll pause and make a motion that we award the bid for the Route 58 turn lane between Hayes Mill and Ridge Road to Hames Brothers Incorporated in the amount of $1,847,500.
Any discussions on the motion?
Well, I would think if you gentlemen was here today to mention some about the roads and what we were doing, I think these are some of the things we are doing
to help that
situation.
Absolutely.
Okay. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Mr. Slayton and Mr. Gottschalk presented to the committee with a draft of the RFP and advised that Mecklenburg County has current engineering service contracts with B&B Consultants, Drewberry, and Timmons Group, covering water, wastewater, and roadways. These contracts, while satisfactory, are limited by their specific industrial uses and differing items. The county seeks to consolidate these into new contracts for general engineering services, including economic site studies, to streamline operations and enhance flexibility. The county expects a strong response to the RFP and plans to award multiple contracts potentially to several firms. Upon a motion of Mr. Spence, the committee voted unanimously to recommend the board authorize the staff to proceed with the RFP for these engineering service contracts. I'll pause there, Mr. Chairman, and make a motion that we recommend that the staff proceed with the RFPs for these engineering services.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Next, Mr. Slayton presented a MOU with Microsoft. He advised that this document would make the process of working together simpler and more efficient. Upon a motion of Mr. Brankley, the committee voted unanimously to recommend the adoption of the amendment to the MOU as presented after staff makes a few tweaks to this document. This authorizes the board chair or the county administrator, either whom may act alone, to sign this amendment on behalf of the county. I'll pause there and make another motion that we authorize the board chair or the county administrator to enter into this MOU with Microsoft.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Being no further business, the meeting was adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Tanner.
Yes, sir.
Hargrove, Budget and Finance Committee. Public hearing in this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just let me know.
Let's go ahead and I want to ask if I could do a justification of all I have to read.
Absolutely.
To try to save the county some money, because
absolutely
it's so long, it'll be 12 o'clock and the county will have to furnish lunch.
I'm with you 100%.
So I'm just in the best interest of the county. Okay, thank you so much. Budget Finance Committee met on Monday, August the 12th, 2024 at 8:45. And the Board of Supervisors meeting room. Members present, myself and the Hargrove chairperson, David Brankley, Tom Tanner, Sterling Wilkerson, Brenda Blackwell. Also present, Jim Jennings, Claudia Yolanda, Kurt Gravitt, Dennis Vince, Alex Gottschalk, County Administrator, Judy Sheffield, Assistant County Administrator, Marsha Siemens, Treasurer, Ben Duncan, 911 Director, and Jenny Whitmore, Clerk. The chairman called the meeting to order. We went over to the general fund, number 100, the staff and recognition grant, and in this fiscal 2024, the Virginia Department of Emergency Management created a one-time staff and recognition grant for the public safety answering points across the Commonwealth. Each PSAP was eligible to request a $2,000 bonus each full-time call and taker position. The Mecklenburg County Emergency Communication participation in this program was approved by the board in its July 23 meeting. And on September 28th of 23, the county notified that it has received $48,750 in funds from this program. I would like to move and make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we take approval on this action that recommended by the Board of Supervisors, hereby to accept and appropriate the $48,750 from the Virginia Department of Emergency Management staff and recognition grants for the fiscal year of 23 and 24 general fund number 100 budget, with the emergency 911 grant revenue budget and the emergency communication compensation expenditure budget increased by a like amount.
Okay. Y'all have heard the motion. Any discussion?
We have to do the public hearing on all of them before taking action on
Okay.
the items.
All right. At this time, we will open the public hearing.
We can read them all, do the public hearing, and then act on the motions after the public hearing.
Okay. You want to read them all first? All right. Do that.
Okay. Then we had Waste Industry Trucks Equipment Replacement Fund number 206 that we ordered in 2022-23 fiscal year, and I don't think we received it to 23-24 fiscal year, which we then, upon their arrival, the county issued a payment for the fiscal year of 23-24 budget. However, no budget exists in the Equipment Replacement Fund to cover these expenditures, because the money was there, but it was budgeted in 22-23, not 23-24. So at this time, I would like to move to make a motion to approve the action to be recommended by the Board of Supervisors, hereby appropriate $645 to the Equipment Replacement Fund number 206 in the fiscal year of 2023-24, which should have been in 22-23, budget for the purpose of the waste industry trucks, which we have now received, with revenue from the fund balance estimate and an increase of the fund accordingly. I would like to make this to be a motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So
just hold them, and then we'll
just hold them. So we got one more, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And this is where the public thing comes to, for the Mecklenburg County Public School Year in School Fund 241 and School Food Fund. Pursuant to the Code of Virginia, the county funds up to Mecklenburg County Public Schools based on categories. Each category within the school fund serves as its own legal appropriations unit. Therefore, if MCPS spends more than an appropriation authority in one category, a budget transfer must be made to another category to the balance. This year, the Mecklenburg County Public School has requested 3 categorical transfers. One of the transfers is from the introduction to operation and maintenance, which is $729,279.03. The next one is from instruction to transportation, which is $632,112.03. And from instruction to technology, that would come to equate to $461,929.84. And also the Virginia Department of Education, the food fund, which is $394.13 in this year 23-24 school budget. And I would like to also to recommend that these be in transfer upon the motion up to the board.
Okay. So do we vote on those collectively after the public hearing?
You can do it that way, or you can do them individually. Either one's going to result in the same outcome.
Okay. All right, we'll now open the public hearing on these 3 items. Anyone wishing to speak?
No one signed up.
No one signed up. All right, we'll now close the public hearing on these. So he presented those as a motion. We're going to take them collectively unless somebody has an objection. And any discussion on that? All in favor of the 3 motions, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hargrove. You did that very well.
There's one more, Andy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one.
Oh, it's one more. Okay.
There's the FY 24-25 item for the radio antenna.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yes, it is. And so the Emergencies ITT Department have requested budget amendment for the fiscal year 24-25 to replace 2 antennas in South Hill, Virginia, State Police Tower site that will induce stronger antennas. The purpose of this request is to enhance the radio coverage of the northwest of South Hill. And I would like to make a motion to add to the collectives, add to the collectiveness that has already been motioned, that we approve the action that recommended by the Board of Supervisors. Hereby amend a fiscal year 24-25 capital improvement plan to authorize Project South Hill Radio Antenna Enhancement, which would we appropriate $26,594 to the 911 fund number 105 for the fiscal year of 24-25 budget plan.
Any discussion on that motion? Any questions? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you. All right, Mr. Gottschall.
All right, the first item we have for you is an ordinance to repeal Article 4 of Chapter 42 of the Mecklenburg County Code of Ordinances related to fireworks. A couple of months ago, I had an individual in the community approach me requesting a fireworks permit from the county, which was quite to my surprise. So I looked into it, and I found that we did, in fact, have a fireworks permit process that required the county administrator to evaluate and grant fireworks permits. And I can assure you and declare here that I am supremely unqualified to grant such a permit or make an inspection. Furthermore, we do not have any one in the county who really has the training or the skills or the knowledge to do that officially for us at this point in time. Russell and I looked further, and what we found is that it's of questionable authority that the county even has the ability to do this. There was some changes to the law of the code in the Commonwealth in the 1990s, and our current ordinance is reflective of the code as it existed before those amendments. And so it's uncertain whether we have that, probable that we do not. Upon conversation with the State Fire Marshal's Office, they claim jurisdiction over this unless you have adopted a statewide fire prevention code, which we have not done. So therefore, the conclusion of Russell and I was that we need to get rid of this ordinance that's currently in place and let the State Fire Marshal's Office do what they are technically qualified to do.
All right, so we need a motion to eliminate this.
Yeah.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
We need to get rid of this.
Yeah, I agree. Motion's been made. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Next.
The next item, we have a right of entry to Parkview Middle School. As the board set out well over a year ago, our intention with the Parkview Middle School site was for it to be an economic/industrial site. And in the last few weeks, we have had a potential user of that site contact us with interest. They do want to do some inspection work of the site before we are ready to have a purchase and sale agreement come before the board. So what we need to do here is to grant that third party the ability to come onto our property and to do whatever testing or inspections that they need to do in order to verify that this is the site that is optimal for their intended business.
Mr. Chair, so moved.
Okay. Motion been made. Any discussion?
Alex, both of those middle schools, is there a time limit set on when they needed to be cleaned up at the Bluestone and here?
So we are in the midst of that project. There are timeframes for efficiency. We had the same vendor do both. So for efficiency purposes, they use the equipment one time in the county. They brought the equipment down, did one, and then originally the intent was to do one project, then one project, but it was modified so that they would keep the equipment here and go from one site to the other site, then take that equipment away and bring in other equipment. So instead of doing a project by project, it's kind of been a phase, then they'll come back, do the phase back here, and then the phase there to save the amount of equipment time, mobilization time. So the construction and demolition phase of the project has been complete on both sides. So the next phase now is the crushing of the material, and that should be ongoing. That should be done right about this next couple days, weeks.
Okay. So both middle schools are being demolished?
That's right.
Anyone else? All in favor say aye. Aye. The motion carries.
The next item we have is our staff reports. I did want to highlight this month the EMS recoveries. So, of course, we've now operated the service for over 1 year. And on the fiscal year basis, we've now completed last year's billing, and we generated almost $600,000 during the fiscal year in recoveries. Now, that was a little bit low because when we first launched the system, we didn't have all of the mechanism in place from the Medicaid and Medicare side in order to get reimbursement. So it took a little bit of a lag time before we received any proceeds back. This July, we were fully good to go, and so we have a full slate of July billings, and the total amount receipt to the county for billing for service was about $65,000, and that's kind of where we settled in. We're settling in that $60,000 to $70,000 a month range. So that should be the expectation going forward, is that we get a recovery rate that will generate probably in the $700,000 to $800,000, which was in fact our original estimate was $720,000. So we didn't achieve that in year one, but we probably will achieve or exceed that as a recovery rate in year two, which is roughly about 1/3 of operational costs is recovered through reimbursement purposes. Speaking of EMS, and that goes into the next one, in the spirit of the Olympics here, which just concluded yesterday, I'm very pleased to announce we have our own medal award. We applied and received from the American Heart Association they have a set of criteria for EMS recognition for heart-related items, and I'm proud to announce that the Mecklenburg County Emergency Services was the winner of a bronze award. And I will say that a bronze, before you say, well, why didn't we get gold? Well, we weren't eligible to get gold because you have to be a past winner to be eligible for gold. And of course, we didn't have a past service, so we weren't a past winner. And we couldn't win silver either because you have to have 1 year of meeting the metrics. And we didn't have a year of the metrics because it's all based on 2023 data. So we only started in the middle of the year. So bronze, in fact, was the highest we could get, and we got it. So I'm very proud of them. We're in, we've made it through the first year of service, and have we had some struggles and challenges? Of course, but I think that the service is on a day-to-day basis. They're doing the job that we hoped they would do, that we set forth for them, and we look forward to continuing to provide medical response services for a long time to come. So I'm very, very proud of them, and I'm very excited that they were able to receive this American Heart Association Bronze Award. And then the last item we have here is an immense document. It is.
I think that's where I started getting carpal tunnel.
So the performance contract. So every CSB or behavioral health agency in the Commonwealth has a performance contract. It's a fairly standard document. It comes from Richmond, comes from DBHDS. Everyone's required to adhere to it. The services included in the document might vary based on the services actually performed, because each location has a different menu of services. But generally, the point of this document is it sets out for the CSB what they need to do in order to get funding from the Commonwealth, and how they bill, how they bill the Commonwealth, how they use the Commonwealth's funds. It's pretty much an instruction document. It is very technical, and all we really need to do is approve it, because we're one of the entities that are the local jurisdictions for the CSB, but it's really going to be, the onus is going to be on the CSB to adhere to all of these terms and conditions. And I just want to say, be thankful every single day that there is a third-party entity that does this, and that this is not a service that the county provides.
All right.
So we need a motion to approve, that the Mecklenburg County approves that the Southside CSB enter into this performance agreement with the Commonwealth of Virginia.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made that we approve this document. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, that is the extent of my report for this month.
Okay. Next, we've got the consent calendar. Everyone's had a chance to look at that. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion been made to approve the consent calendar. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. All right, moving right along. Board member matters. Dennis, Mr. Spence, you want to go?
I do not have anything. Again, I just wanted to thank Department of Transportation. I can see where they've done some good work out there on the road. See the benefits from it already. The only other question burning in my mind is, as we go forward with these different projects that we're voting on, and this may be a question for Robert. I could talk to him later if I need to, but who's kind of the enforcement personnel for these projects that citizens have concerns about things that are not done or things that are not functioning properly, such as silt ponds or panels coming apart, not working properly, or whatever the case might be, whether it's solar, whether it's Microsoft. We don't really have staffing in place to kind of enforce those kind of things other than our zoning department, do we?
Who's the young man, Josh?
Yes,
he's with compliance to a certain degree on that, right?
That's right. Josh is our erosion and sediment control inspector. So we do have some enforcement there. Beyond that, some of the building stuff falls under the building code. Like if you're building the commercial structure, so the building official in that department inspects those things. But we do not have a local stormwater management plan. So that defaults to DEQ. So it's a mixture.
Follow with Robert then and see if we can maybe come up with a way to kind of check behind folks on some things.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Ms. Lundy?
Yes, I think everybody's been very appreciative of the rain, especially the farmers. But the people who house owners or homeowners are not so good with all the
I
grass
don't know
in
if
their
I
yard.
like some of the friends that came with it.
Also, the Phoenix Academy, I think it's, I have not gone inside because it's locked the day I went down, but on the outside, and the picture that he showed, when you go to the front door, they have two entrances, one for the middle school students and one for the high school students. They go in different sections. They don't have classes together. So I thought that was good. He showed us on the overhead. And also, you know what the academy is. It's a place for students who cannot be productive in the classroom for many reasons. Okay, it could be because of age or home, whatever it may be. It's a place for students who cannot be productive in the classroom. So they have 16 there. And I asked the superintendent, how do you know how many you have? He said they screened some last year for school closed. Because some students dropped out of school before it closed. They are in there too, not because of behavior, because they're behind schedule in the classwork. And he was trying to bring them up the first semester and then put them back in the classroom. So right now, it's not a behavioral problem right now why they're there from last year. It's an academic problem right now. They have 16, he said. The zoo, again, I guess we'll put it to rest for a while. I think it's a great idea, but the timing for this county, I think, is all for that. The timing is all for that. We need a few more other things except that right now. Also, we got a notice that we need to sponsor 2 teachers. It said 2 teachers need to sponsor a teacher or some teachers on September the 17th. So I'm asking this board, will they sponsor 2 teachers at $50 each, a welcoming banquet. And it's on the September the 17th, a welcome banquet. Will this board sponsor 2 teachers? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Along those same lines, I got Jenny to print those things out for the new teacher dinner. And I was going to ask all the board members to sponsor at least one.
Oh,
so,
okay, that's good.
I think everybody needs to look at it and just try to support our teachers. We're starting this new school year, and as everybody knew when they came down 58 this morning, the buses are out, the cars are out. Please watch out for these buses out there. Everybody's not used to seeing them. They hadn't seen them in a few months. I'm sure you can go on social media, and there's been plenty of shares of where you're supposed to stop, where you don't have to stop, and stuff like that. So please educate yourself where you do need to stop, because it's a huge safety concern. But thank all the school staff that are back at it. You have a thankless job, but thank you for educating our children. And again, the new teacher dinner, please. I think if all the board members would sponsor a new teacher, I think it would really look
That's a good idea.
good. You can go. You can go meet some of the teachers. You can go see the facilities. So I think that would be great. And I want to congratulate our EMS agency on their bronze award. Hopefully we can bring it up to silver by next year. But since we weren't eligible, you know, we were the highest achievement we could get. So, and I thank everybody that came out to speak on these projects that we're having. And I think from a board's perspective on these solar projects, we've got to figure out where projects are going to need to be located in order for us to approve them. I don't want to see staff, whether it's zoning, Alex, Russell, expend time and energy on projects that we're not going to approve. I think we need to figure out locations where they're going to best fit in the county in order to get us to the cap that we've decided upon, and we move forward with it. Because I just don't think it's a productive for our staff to continue to work on projects that just get turned down. Now the siting agreements, they can bring them back to us. They can redo them. It wasn't turning the project down. It was just turning the financial side down for the time being. But I do think we need to look at that and figure out how we're going to move forward with that. But I thank all the staff for all their hard work on all these projects. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Grab?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple things I wanted to ask, as far as the dumpsters go, countywide. When we replace the dumpsters, the big green boxes, are we buying them with the new ones with lids? Plastic, the plastic lids that cover the dumpsters. The reason I ask is I think we got a few unwanted dumpster divers over there on the Penn Road. We got a bunch of buzzards over there. And my point is, the only thing I could think of maybe that might help with the situation is as we replace dumpsters, maybe get the attendant maybe to keep some of them closed, except for maybe 3 or 4 of them, and let people fill 3 or 4 at a time, and maybe close them down and then open up 2 or 3 empty ones. And as we put these convenience centers in, we may have that problem in other locations. We just don't know. I think it's going to probably be hit or miss. But that was just something I just might want to be doing some digging into. Another thing I was going to ask, as far as, with Debbie and the wind and things like that, it piqued my curiosity up as far as within the towns of Mecklenburg County. Do we have any kind of, tornado alert system as far as sirens or something within the towns to alert people if there's been a vortex indicated on the Doppler radar for people to seek shelter? And I was just curious if, as far as something like that, what would we might need to do? I know we have smartphones and cell phone towers and everything, but some people still have flip phones. Another thing is, some people may be outside in the yard. I leave my phone at home on purpose some days. Another thing is, sometimes we think these storms hit at lunchtime when we've had 7 days of notice, especially a tornado. But sometimes they can strike 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when we sleep. And of course, maybe this might not need to be the same siren as the traditional fire calls that we've been getting toned out for. Might need to be something different. But I was just curious if we had something like that, and then what would go to the drawing board maybe if we need it, or in my opinion, when it comes to public safety, we spare no expense. But I don't know what something like that would cost, and that would be something that I want to talk with Alex and the board about maybe looking at.
I'll interject one thing on that. I know that 911 does do the code red. You can sign up for that. Of course, it's a phone call. They do that, but I know the siren in La Crosse is not set up right now as a tornado, having a different tone or anything else. And I don't know that some of the towns, I know, does Clarksville still work?
Ours has been it's been broken for a long time, but that's what I'm saying. Even if they do work, some people might, think it's a fire call and not a tornado. So it's got to be something different, in my opinion. And like I said, I think even though if they do work, I think they shut them down and don't blow them after a certain time.
9 o'clock.
Which is fine. But if it's a tornado and you need to seek shelter, you need to be blowing that baby. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that was just something I'd like to kind of just see maybe if we could look at doing something like that, just to try to maybe prevent some loss of life.
Along those same lines, most counties surrounding us, they have an alarm, and they bring it on ever so often. Have you noticed it on TV? But Mecklenburg is not listed. I wonder why we weren't listed also.
And it's something we probably, just be, vocal about it and educate the public. This is what it sounds like. When you hear it, it's not, and if we need to test it, give them plenty of heads up that it's going to be a test. Right. But if you hear it and it ain't a test, get with the program.
Yeah.
So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lyman?
Congratulations to the EMS for their award. I'm sure there are many more to come in the future, especially that goal.
That's all. Mr. Wilkerson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things. I want to thank everybody for coming to the Ag Development Committee meeting. It was a success, as it is every year, in my opinion. It really provides real numbers and aspects for all who are not of the ag background, which I think is important for everybody to see, the complexity of it. The other thing was, I was glad to see VDOT working on the 58th bridge. I've been after him for a while, and he finally got it done. They're not the best at, achieving speed, but they do get it done in time, and I'm thankful for that. So And the last thing, you know, I like to agree with the gentleman that spoke here today about supporting that letter for the opposition, you know, of the dog hunting law. You know, in my opinion, this is really just government overreach again at the state level, just what it is. It really applies to, it should be more focused on a lower level. I've been advocating for that forever. It should be done on the county level because, you know, I mean, that's where it really needs to be. And I think we should absolutely support this letter and need to go ahead and get it going because, I mean, time's of the essence of this letter to the governor. So,
All right, I'll take that as a motion.
I'd like to make a motion. There you go.
Y'all heard the motion. Any discussion?
I think it got a hearing like the 22nd of this month, so it needs to be done pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Alex,
get it to the
you
governor.
handle that once it's voted upon?
And we have done this before as well. I've seen it, I think it was 2016 or something.
Yeah, we've done it before.
So anyway, I appreciate that. So.
All right. Y'all heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Franklin?
I'm gonna tell you, they done mentioned everything I was gonna talk about, everything, and so.
We all do it.
Who's left? Mr. Hargrove?
Yep.
Yeah.
Give it to him. After all them motions he made today, they give him a little time.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad I didn't have to read what he had to read.
I'm telling you, but that's all.
Mr. Hargrove.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much, Mr. Chairman. I'm very proud of the EMS awards, and I'm hoping in years to come that we will have the Simone Biles Award. As is, we have so many goals that other counties will
You watch the Olympics.
And also, I'm hoping that the public would understand that with growth come problems. And I'm hoping they will be patient with us because many times the problems they see, we're just learning of it as well. But they want immediate action, and Rome wasn't built in a day. So, and I believe that we are going to do the best we can to resolve most of these issues at all possible. But we just need to have the patience of the public. They say they want to grow, they have growth, now they're complaining because of congestion. So, I mean, if you want to get fat, you're going to expect indigestions. And so the thing of it is, we have to understand that with growth, there come problems. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Well, when there come problems, then we have to be patient enough to try to endure until it's all been done and said and so forth. But I'm proud to serve on this board. I thank each and every one of you that I serve with, even Mr. Brankley. And one of the things that I do ask it, and when we sending out this hand dog petition or whatever it is, that Mr. Brankley don't be coming around my house barking like no dog.
Put that in there.
You better act right.
I'm finished.
That's done. All right. I'm like Mr. Brankley. I think everything's been said that needs to be said, and I totally agree with all of it. I think we had a new format of the board packet, and so I don't know if Alex or Jenny wants to update us on that. I know I mentioned I got carpal tunnel scrolling through that thing, and I didn't know if that was a workman's comp claim or what it was now. Anyway.
It's a little off. There's changes, some obstacles.
So it's supposed to be bottom next month.
That
right?
is not, the format that it originally was in was not the format that the system will do.
Good thing.
Okay. So we got that squared away then?
Yes, we
Before
got too,
September.
we got too excited and, hit send too fast.
I was like, golly, hey man, where are my categories here?
But hopefully there will be some education sent out between now and the next board meeting, and we will be back.
Yeah, wait a minute. You can look at this board and tell how we gonna learn.
All right, well.
So in other words, what you're trying to say, it takes patience.
That's right.
Since you have a little ingestion. Serious ingestion.
But what ultimately you will see is very similar to the format it is now. What the public will see is the ability to look at a lot of these items and see them beforehand. So that way, when they come up here and we have 19 conditions on something, you'll be able to know what those 19 conditions are and hopefully speak on whether those are sufficient conditions or we missed something or we need something instead of having just, broad-based commentary without the ability.
I'm sure you get it worked out. I know I worried Jenny a little bit Friday about getting the thing, but anyway, it's all.
And I think our planning.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the other one you said. I don't know why, but anyway.
And I think our planning commission is getting the iPads.
they should be getting them as well. There was some, the original plan was for this software to have an app, and we wanted to load the app on the iPad before it was issued because it's easier to do that than to hand them, take them back, refigure them. But there has been a change, I believe, in how the logins are done. So that should be coming, but I think Jenny might know more than about that.
I hope it's gonna roll out this week, so hopefully before the planning commission's, August meeting, or else maybe, that night.
Okay.
Okay.
We should be ready. We're ready, we're just kind of waiting on them now.
Okay.
We're trying to get the logins all straight so everyone has the same logins for things.
Right.
All right, very good. That's all I have. Anybody else have anything? We'll declare this meeting adjourned. No closed session.
We in good shape then.
I said, hey,
I thought I
Dennis,
saw one in there that said.
got it done, didn't